Little jazz for your listening pleasure. I am Michael Vincent, and this is The Square Route. Just kidding. How you doing, everybody? My name is Mike Vincent, and this is a new channel that I created called The Square Route, or depending on how you grew up and how you pronounce things, Square Route, but it's Route. So we're going to Square Route. I invented this concept specifically for young black men. All men, young and old or whatever, you can get something out of it, great. If not, it is what it is. There's 800 million other channels you could go to. But I appreciate you being here. The concept of it is to show our young men, specifically in my community, how you can do things the right way. Now, it may be boring. Doing things the right way can be boring at times, but at the same time, it can save you a lot of trouble in your future. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a recent retiree. I retired young. I don't know if y'all can tell how young I am with all this gray, but nonetheless, I'll take it, because the Bible says gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained through the way of righteousness. So I thank God for letting me live this long to accumulate gray hairs. Semi-retired. I left my job of 32 years. Blue collar worker. I worked in a tire facility here in Buffalo, New York. Dunlop Tire. Got that job right out of the military. I was about a year out of the military. They were hiring veterans who were coming back from the Persian Gulf conflict, things like that. So, got hired January 1990 and just retired in August of 2022. So it's 32 years of service. It was time to go. It has served its purpose. It paid a great salary, great benefits, and it was just a nice experience, but it's time to move on. So I didn't sit still long. I am now a substitute teacher in the Buffalo Public School system. And I wanted to venture into education based on altering the futures of our young black men. They are in need. They are in great need right now. And again, disclaimer, this channel is for everyone, but it is targeted specifically to our young black men who need so much guidance and mentorship and things of that nature. So, again, military veteran. I served in the United States Navy for 4 years, stationed out in San Diego, California, on board the CG-32 William H. Stanley. It was a guided missile cruiser for all of you who know anything about the military. Great time in California. Would have stayed, but I didn't have money. I couldn't hang. That's big money out there. So I came back to Buffalo, got this job, and around family. So it worked out. Got married, had a child, things like that. So a good old American story. Now, by the gear I'm wearing, for all of you who can read, name of this shirt is How Buffalo Took the Division. This was back from 2020 when the Buffalo Bills, as you can tell, I'm a fan, really started shaping up as a team they are. But we'll talk about sports another time. This is a mission of love, okay? So we'll be talking about my life experiences, man, and how going a certain route, the square route specifically, and when I mean square, in an American lexicon, words change over time, Bad used to be bad, and then when in the 70s, and hey man, that's a bad car. I don't mean it's a bad car, I mean it's a good car. So you guys get the point. So being called a square once upon a time was probably offensive. But now in my advanced years, I love being a square. You know what I mean? Squares do the right thing. Squares stay out of the way. Squares don't cause conflict. So things like that. So you have to pardon me if I go back and forth from the camera to the screen, because I want to make sure I'm straight, but I'm looking down here at myself. I don't know, I might be looking at you. Now I'm looking at you, right? Anyway, as this goes on, help me out. You know what I mean? As we have comments and things like that, help a brother out. So anyway, as I ventured into the school system, it's funny that when you go about your life, you kind of lose touch with some of the things that are going on in society, because you're going about your life. A lot of times it's about, if you have a family, it's all about focusing on your family, making sure they're fine, things like that, make sure you're cool, making sure you're living your best life. So a lot of times things get away from you as far as societal issues. So education was always something, near and dear to me. While I was at my job for 32 years, I completed my associate's and bachelor's degree because I wanted to go into school. So that was definitely the way to go about that. So as I get into the schools and I see the conditions, I see the attitudes, I see the thought process, fundamentals have been lost out here, people. Fundamentals have been lost. Perfect example. When I was growing up, preteen, teen, whatever it was, your respect for a man was rooted in you. Because even as you became a teenager, you started to develop, you got a few muscles and things like that. You knew that if you crossed a man, that was a loss for you. That was an ass whooping or whatever it was going to come to. So let's be honest. That's been lost. So what we'll do on this channel is we'll get into specific topics, how the matriarchy has affected young black men. And I love my women. There's no knock on you. But with the conditions that the situation had to be left up to you without the input of certain men, be it a father, uncle, whatever, we see what's going on out here. You know what I mean? The crime, the disruption, whatever it is that's being caused, I guarantee you, a great percentage are being caused by fatherless males. And this is nothing new that I'm saying to you, and I'm sure you guys know that. And if you don't know that, it's a good thing you tuned in. But I want to get our people back. I want to get our young men back to being respectable young men. I want them to get back to being gentlemen. I mean, there's some way, listen, everything can be changed. Yeah, everything can be changed. So I have faith, first of all, in God and in the village that we can change the mindset of these young men. So I've coached sports. That's one avenue. It's kind of cliche. I'm tired of sports being the end-all, be-all to get out of a certain situation. Sports are great. As you see, I'm wearing sports stuff, but for it to be the end-all, be-all, and for that to be preached to our young men as the only way out, that's what this channel is about. Now, in the future, as I become more technologically advanced, I mean, I'm a child of the 80s. I crawled into this technology. I wasn't born into it like my daughter. I'm sure I'll be turning to her for some assistance as far as technology goes, because listen, yeah, and most of y'all, let's just confess, man, this certain age, this ain't your thing, unless it's your job or you have to be trained in it and things like that. So I got the very basics right now. I'm surprised I found the camera icon on this thing, and then when I said, okay, well, what, record, So believe me, I'm not a total technical idiot, but nonetheless, as time goes on, with input from you and of course the help of my daughter, we should be able to take this to a pretty decent level as far as YouTube quality type videos. Okay, so this is nothing specific. This is just an introduction of what the show will be. The square route. Okay, the square route. This is the route that we have to have our young men take. There's nothing wrong with going out here, getting a good paying job, being a responsible male, taking care of your family, taking care of your loved ones, taking care of your community. Nothing wrong with that. That's what squares do. Okay? I'm a square. Love it. Love it. Because guess what? This crazy society, they don't even check for squares. They let us go on about our business. And another thing about this gray hair, a lot of times this gray hair is a pass. It's a pass. You know? A lot of young guys, you won't even look your way. You know what I mean? Not that I'm worried about danger or anything like that. I mean, I keep my head on the swivel because I'm not an idiot. But nonetheless, I don't walk out the house worried about something happening. Police. I've seen police just ride past this old gray-haired dude. You know, so gray hair, again, it's a crown of splendor. Is attained by the way of righteousness. Not going to get on here and preach, but I do have a relationship with God. I've always had one. My family introduced us to God very early. So I'm not going to do no preaching on here, but God does get a shout out pretty much every video that I'm going to produce. Okay, so let's understand that. So again, this is for young black men. I can't emphasize that enough. So if a young black man does not stumble upon this channel, if you do as an elder, tell them to go to the square route. We'll be talking about everything from how to control your finances. I got stories for that. There's an old saying that money does not come with instructions. That ain't no lie. I had to learn money. When I started making a decent dollar, I had to learn it because I wasn't brought up in that. Okay. We weren't poor, but underprivileged. You know what I mean? Because I know families whose condition was worse than ours, you know, in a single parent village, you know. Like I grew up, my mom and dad, you know, divorced early. He moved out of town, didn't have much interaction with him. So mom was it. But one of the key things that mom did was always place me in the company of progressive, positive men. Okay, so even that can help you. And then as I go to the military, being around men, you know, of all ethnicities and things like that, of all, you know, levels of knowledge and wisdom, that helped as well. So just because you come from a single parent home does not mean you cannot succeed. Now, that being said, I made it my mission to be married and to be in my child's life 24/7, 365. Okay? My grandmother, who I will quote often on this channel, a wise woman, Ella Roberts, Ella Lucille Roberts, out of Artesia, Mississippi. You know, part of the Great Migration, along with my uncles and everybody. You know, we chose here. Some of our family went to Flint, Michigan. Some of our family went to Pittsburgh. Some of them went to Cleveland, Chicago, St. Louis. So, I am a child of the Great Migration, okay? So don't mind me. If I'm looking away from this camera sometimes, it's because my dog, who just had his treat, is rubbing himself on the carpet. He's in his glory right now. So if you hear a little jingle jangle in the background, besides the smooth jazz, it's my dog. So don't worry about him. His name is Titan. He's a 2-year-old pit bull terrier. He's a good kid, but dogs, man. I'm a dog person. Cats, don't like cats. Cats too aloof. They're too conceited. You know what I mean? You got to cater to cats. You ain't got to cater to dogs. You know, dogs are about the fundamentals of life. Yo, can you feed me? I got somewhere to stay. Cool. My job is to protect you. Love dogs. Cats, they'll do nothing all day. Sit around on the back of your couch, looking out the window, doing whatever. Don't do nothing. Ain't no guard cats. They're guard dogs. Another subject for another time. So, hey, listen, this is going to be as serious as things may become. This is going to be light and fun as well, okay? Because I'm a pretty fun-loving guy, pretty funny dude, multi-talented. I can do a lot of things, you know, so it's not to brag, that's just fact. And we'll see that as this channel grows and grows with the help of you, okay? So, so again, finances. If you're not sure about your future, consider the military. That was my situation. You know what I mean? Graduated high school. And, didn't know what I was going to do next because I wasn't college material because I never tried to be college material. I was smart enough, but I never applied myself. I just wasn't into college. And coming from a family where you didn't see many college graduates, we had a few, but it wasn't like I came from this college-based family. I didn't. So with me, we're working class folks. So when I graduated high school, I had, a job, and I just wanted to change the scenery. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be in my mother's house anymore. Because, once you're an adult, man, you should be on your own. And that's another thing we've lost in the village, man. If you turn on the Animal Planet and see, let's say, a wolf couple, wolves, after a certain time, nose goes under the butts of those wolf pups and out they go. And those are pea-brain animals. You know what I mean? Now, depending on your child's situation, cool. They're going to school, they're working, holding their own, they need to stay there, solid. But you got to be productive and you got to contribute. Tell you a quick story and then I'm going to end this because this is just pretty much a promo. When I graduated from high school in 1985, right? We left the graduation ceremony and went to eat, right? Me, my mom, my grandmother, my sister, whatever, So I'm eating, middle of eating, enjoying the fact that I'm finished with school. School's done, this and that, yada, yada. As I'm eating, go sit down. My mother goes, okay, what's next? So she asked me that. I'm like, a couple of parties tonight. We're going to get it on and have a good. She said, no. I ain't talking about that. What's your next move? This is 2 hours after high school graduation. Okay? So she put that on my plate. I had to think about that. What was my next move? So for me, again, back to the fact that not really certain, go to the military. The military will take you out of town. You'll be on your own. You'll meet new people, things like that. I chose the Navy because of the travel. Okay? The Army, you can station somewhere, that's where you're going to be until you re-enlist or whatever, and then they send you somewhere else. Marines, Air Force, same thing. Navy, yeah, you're on a ship, but you're traveling around the globe on that ship. So I've been to some countries that I probably won't pay to go to because of the military. Been all through Asia, things like that. Let me see. Let me run it down real quick. My first port outside of the United States was Acapulco, Mexico. Now, granted, these aren't pleasure cruises. A lot of time they're military exercises. At the end of the exercise, we port somewhere. Okay, so that's the deal. So, boom, Acapulco, Mexico, great time. Came back from there. Where'd we go after that? We went to Hawaii, right? I never thought I'd be in Hawaii. Hawaii was like this mythical place. Coming from the east side of Buffalo, didn't think I would be there. In Hawaii. Been in Hawaii 3 times. Left there, went to Busan, Korea. Good time over there. Came back. Where did we go? Okay, we came back. Left there. Then, around 80, end of 86, early 87, the Persian Gulf was it was in its infancy. So, of course, we had to go over that way. So we were over in Bahrain, stationed there as we sailed the Straits of Hormuz, protecting oil tankers from, I want to say, Iraq. Or I don't know. It's the political stuff. We were just there to do a job. We just did what we were told. That's the military. Okay, so we leave there. So before we get there, we went to the Philippines. All right. Left the Philippines, Persian Gulf, went to Singapore, yes, or Hong Kong, or one of them. I can't remember. It was one thing about when you get to these ports, it ain't nothing but a party. So a lot of stuff I'd have to see in photos or somebody have to remind me. You got to pardon me. So Singapore, Thailand. Thailand was phenomenal. Love Thailand. did not understand the proximity of Thailand to Vietnam, and that it was just mind blowing. As you get older, you kind of discover things, and you kind of go, "Wow, that's what it was." That type of thing. Where else? So mainly it was Asia because we were stationed on the West Coast. I had friends who were stationed on the East Coast, coming out of Florida or Norfolk or South Carolina, whatever. They did Europe, so they did England and Spain and France and whatever. They did that kind of stuff. So nonetheless, excuse me, great experience. I have friends that I met there that are friends for life. I was in the military in 1985 when I went in. I still have friends for life from there. And what's great about having friends around the country, their home is always welcoming. So a lot of times we go, me and my wife travel, whatever, man, we don't pay for no hotels. We stay with a friend, one of my military buddies. So, again, these are just topics. I'm rambling a bit, but nonetheless, this is what it's about. Okay, and I am preaching to the young black men. Again, if any other young man of any other hue gets something out of it, you're welcome to come and spread the word. Because I'm all about positivity. I'm all about reinforcement. Again, that's why I went to the school system. Those kids need me. And it's nice to have a job or something like that, because I only work 4 hours a day. I just left full-time work. Okay, so I work at 7:50 to 11:30, or some days it may be 11:30 until 3, where the schools, let out. But nonetheless, a half day. I leave school, especially in the mornings, right? Leave school in the mornings, get my workout in, come back home, do some things around here, cool out, might take a nap. Listen, it's a wonderful life. I thank God for the life I have. I really do. Because at this age, most people are working, So I'm not working. I'm doing something that is considered a labor of love. So I'm fortunate. So that being said, again, this channel is the Square Route. We're not doing root, because people might do some math stuff. They might think square R-O-O-T. No, this is Square Route. So I'm going to pronounce it route, just so you know. All right, so it's the Square Route, and our mission is to develop and build an army of squares who think a certain way. Squares think positively. Again, they don't cause chaos. They don't cause issues in their families or communities. So this is what it's about. I want to help change the mindset. Because on YouTube, it's a lot of people who are talking good stuff. A lot of people talking foolish stuff too. But this is about saving our youth, preserving our future. Because as you think about it, the older you get, man, somebody got to take care of you. Can we depend on the generation that's out there right now? Can we depend upon them? Maybe, maybe not. But if we instill into them what's important, I think they'll be just fine. There's an old adage, as a parent, depending on how you were raised, you say things like, what worked for me will work for you. Okay? Again, I was from a single parent household, but my mother dropped the hammer. Ladies, if you have a young man that you're raising on your own or what have you like that, first and foremost, try to find the most positive male influences around him. Put him in the company of those male influences. Okay? Don't be afraid to let a man guide your child. It's not a competition. He's not going to stray from you, especially if you're all he knows. Mom is cool. Mom is always going to be taken care of in some way, shape, or form. I'm still taking care of mine. Thank God she's healthy and mobile. She's retired, things like that. But hey, a couple of dollars here and there for mom. You know what I mean? Need something done around the house? I'll go depending on what it is. But she got some grandsons that she need to be soliciting too. That's another Listen, I got a million subjects we could talk about. All right? About how the matriarchy, and again, ladies, not blaming you for anything. You were put in a certain condition because of the conditions that we were in as black men. Not an excuse, it's fact. So a lot of times you guys were put in positions where you had to take the reins and this and that. But a lot of times what happens with that, humans adapt. We're an adaptable creature. So a lot of times you adapt to the fact that your word is the end all be all. And it is in certain situations, but we all need help. No one got to where they were by themselves. Okay? And another thing I want to emphasize is success. People need to quit equating success with money. Nothing. Some of the richest people in the world are some of the most unhappy people in the world. Let's understand that. Success is not causing a burden on society, not being a burden on society. Okay? There's some of the things I want to tell you, young men. Number one, be respectful. There are people that came before you. They deserve the respect that they've earned. Okay? Be it in your family, outside your family. I still call men sir. Ladies, ma'am. A lot of that's raising, a lot of that's military. All right. Number two, if you can avoid it, keep the babies out of your life until you get married or until you at least settle down with someone you know you're going to be in the long haul. You're going to play the long game with them. That's two. Number three, get some form of education, be it a high school diploma, or I got news for you guys. If you don't want to do college, the trades are dying out here for people. Electrician, carpenter, mechanic, plumber, whatever it is. Listen, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Women love men that use them hands. I'll tell you a story. I was in the plant one day, boom, 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 whatever, working. Left there, went to the supermarket before I got home. Saw one of the elders, the elderly, or one of the queens of the church I was attending at the time. Let's put it that way. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to talk out of turn or say more the wrong terminology. I don't want to do that. So I saw her, and I don't know, Sister Jones. Hey, Sister or Mother Jones. You know how the church do. You got sisters and you got mothers. Excuse me. Another thing I love about YouTube, man, retakes. I ain't doing all that. I had to grease my lips up and joints was getting chapped. Talking too much. That's a problem I got. But nonetheless. So I see Mother Jones. Let's say Mother Jones. Good morning, Mother Jones. I shake her hand, right? And I say, hey, pardon my rough hands. I just came from work. You know what she said to me? She said, baby, that's how a man's hand's supposed to feel. Ooh-wee. You dig what I'm saying? That's old school. That's an old school woman. Their husbands came home from the plant or wherever they worked, what I mean, cleaned up this and that, man, grabbed them, kissed them old rough hand, them working hands. I ain't got them no more. I'm out of there. So my wife likes them soft now. She used to like them rough, but anyway. So again, the trades are looking for people. Man, I got a friend that's my plumber. And even though I get the family discount because that's my man, he makes some good money. He makes some good money off of me. You know what I mean? But he's got a skill that he'll never stop. If you have a skill that people need, you'll never starve a day in your life. Also, if you have a skill, you can become an entrepreneur. You don't have to work for anybody. So these are things you can do. And all this while being a square, staying out of the way. Okay, so I mentioned those three. Number four, one of the most important. I hope I didn't do four already. No, I think I only had three up there. Okay, four, one of the most important things is young black men, keep the police out of your jacket. And when I mean jacket, your file. Keep them out of there. The job I have now is a substitute teacher. If you have a criminal record, no matter how much you love kids and no matter how much your heart is in it to change their lives, you cannot become a substitute teacher because of a felony. So it felt good as I went through the orientation for substitute teachers. They said, boom, boom, this is what you got to do next. Okay, right across the street from City Hall, because City Hall was where we had our seminar and things like that. Orientation, I'm sorry. Go to City Hall, pay $10, get your records Pulled up in front of you, boom, here you go, Mr. Hicks, you're all good. Took it right back across the street. Cool. Beginning of the school year, you stop. There you go. There you go. Keep crime out of your life. Move like a square. Now, being from the inner city, as a square, you know some folks from the other side of the tracks. We all do. Okay? But squares think independently. Squares are not followers. Squares are leaders. Okay? Squares are leaders. Because we make the decision to go right and not left. They call it going right for a reason, because you're going the right way. Just like everybody go, man, the whole thing went left. Left is the wrong way. As far as the political arena, I don't care right or left. I don't care nothing about that. So, again, we ain't doing no politics on this show. You know, little bit of religion, but I'm not going to be preaching. No politics. Some sports, because I don't want this to get off course. You dig what I'm saying? But the mission that I am on, and I want you fellas out there to join me, no matter what age you are, is to keep the square route in your life. Go the right way. The square route will tell you which way to go. And you won't be sorry. I'm telling you, I got stories of the mistakes I made. And that's how you learn. Not only from your own mistakes, but other people's mistakes who came before you. Okay? So, again, I got to get used to this camera thing. Now, I see some of you folks on YouTube, you real pros. This is my first video. I'm just kind of, throwing it out there. But that's the mission. All right? So, I'll also be playing smooth jazz in the background. I think it's at a nice level. It's not interfering with the message. Square stuff. Ain't gonna be no rap. Especially today's rap. I don't dig it. All right? I'm from another time. Let's see what we got here. All right, we got a commercial. Never mind that. Let me go ahead and, mute that thing. But nonetheless, I'm from a different generation. Yeah, I think that'll go right there. I'm from a different generation. You know what I mean? There's some things we believe in. I believe that rap in its purest form was one of the greatest inventions ever created by us and brown folks. Got to get them credit too. As far as the hip hop thing. But the messages, I just can't get with it. So as I'm chilling around the house, man, I throw on some rap. It's the 80s stuff. It's Big Daddy Kane. It's Rakim. It's LL. It's KRS-One. It's MC Lyte. It's Funky 4+1 with the great Sha Rock, one of the first great female MCs. It's Queen Latifah, Jungle Brothers, Tribe Called Quest. If I'm listening to anything, it's from my era. NWA. NWA was the first to really break ground with the reality rap. But I love them. Love Cube, King T, you know what I mean? West Coast cat, Too Short. Matter of fact, me and my man Craig from Alabama. Tell you the story and I'm going to go. See, I can go on forever. Tell you the story. In the military, we were stationed in San Diego. So up the coast, outside of Oakland, was the Alameda weapons base. That was a Navy base where you went and exchanged ammunition, be it bullets, man, sometimes missiles, whatever it was. You did that. So anyway, that was the base we were there. And we went and hung out on both sides. This side of the bridge, San Fran, this side, Oakland. Loved them both. San Fran was real hip, touristy, Oakland was hood, but very hip, historic, things like that. So, awesome time in the Bay. Love y'all out there in the Bay if y'all hear this. So me and Craig are going out on Liberty, right? Our day is done. We're walking out. We see these two guys standing outside the military base selling tapes. Cassette tapes. And this is before this dude blew up. It was Too Short and this man Freddie B. Yeah, Me and my man Craig bought Born the Mac off of him before it went national. We remember it. Freaky Tales, all that stuff. It's party time. Listen, I was there. So anyway, again, another subject we can dive into. All right, later on the Square Route. So listen, I'm gone. Love y'all. Now, this is another thing. I do two things when I sign off. I'm in this fantasy football league, right, with my military buddies, and we're on a site where we leave video messages. So I do a fantasy football recap every Tuesday after the Monday night game is over with. I do a sports recap. You know, very cool. Got some music playing. I'm talking Yang. You know, it's a wonderful thing. But as I sign off on that, I have a saying, and I'll do the same thing here. All right. So as I sign off, I'll say, okay, all you squares out there, love you, can't get enough of you, see you on the other side. And as I become more technologically advanced, I'm going to be interviewing squares, friends from my life, people in general. Once this thing really gets to running, if you inbox me in the comments or whatever and you have a square history, I'd love to interview you once I get my stuff together. And another thing, for you brothers out there who may have taken the wrong path and now you got back on the square route, I want to talk to you too. Because there are no throwaway people in society. Everybody has a use. Everybody has a purpose. You know, and I want to share that, and I want you to share with me on the square route. All right? And another thing, anybody I talk to on here, you got to take an oath. You got to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your name, and please don't say state your name. All right, I, Mike Vincent, do solemnly swear to remain a square. So that's how we're going to sign off. Anybody I interview, they take the oath. Listen, anybody in here who loves it, take the oath. Be a square. Improve the quality of the lives of the young people behind us. Let's do it. It's a collective effort. All right? Thank you for your time, and I'll be back. I just got to jot down some topics we can talk about, things like that. But it's all going to be based in squareology, I guess. All right. Talk to you next time.